Jesus Christ.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day, and this man taking a swig from the bottle of life
Oh yeah.
is Bibby.
Oi oi.
I mean, we refer to him as Bibby. You guys, obviously, as you can see, he's not doing a very good job of concealing his true identity. He is the Batman. And as you can tell from mine, I clearly am a member of the Mighty Ducks Disney film. I suck his skating team, yeah! Let's go split screen. Boop. There we go. Everything's good, good morning. Welcome. This is twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. We combined, well, not the entirety, but a bit of Ice Cream, and this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video games podcast, self-proclaimed. We are here. We are your isolation station. Yeah. I almost messed it up again then, thinking about it, but I'll take that one. I'll take that one as a victory. As mentioned, I am Graham. As you can see there, it says Graham's home, and that is Babe in the Ice Cream Upload studio. Apparently, it's got to say that for the next 2 months or however long we get stuck in this isolation situation. So yes, that is Babe. He's in his home ICU studio, so it's technically
Shagpad.
Shagger.
It literally is, because I'm in the fucking bedroom. This is my shagpad. Yeah, I have a shagger. Yes.
Drink the coffee early morning.
Nice.
So this is The Scoop. We give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest and best happenings from across the games industry. We do that each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. live on Twitch. We give you our thoughts and impressions because we want your thoughts and impressions in return. And if you are live in the Twitch chat, you can do that, which is pretty important because we turn this into a video podcast that we upload to YouTube a little bit later today, and we upload it to 4 different podcast locations to iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So if you're listening there, hi, good morning. And if you're watching on YouTube, then feel free to hit the like button. You don't have to, but you can. It's just nice to pass on the love. It's difficult times. We all need a little bit of support, so do it now. Obviously, if you are on demand, you do get the ability to hit the like button, but you get the ability to pause, rewind, and so on, but you don't get to chat live. You can use the comments below, and we will look at those. We do jump into those. But if you are live on Twitch, it's kind of important that you do get involved in that conversation, because you get the other guys that get to do that. And if you're a subscriber, you get to use Bibby's world famous, by the people that know it, emote, which is...
Oh, hello.
There we go. Someone's had his coffee this morning. GG, babe.
I really haven't. I am on my ass again. I stayed up until 2 o'clock this morning watching WWE documentaries, so I am fucked this morning.
So for those of you that don't know, Bibby usually is in bed by about 6:15 in an evening. Maybe at a push, 6:45. Well, not quite that much, but Bibby usually is an early to bed because he's early to rise as well in the morning. He travels all the way to the Ice Cream Upload studio, and because of the current COVID situation, our studio is shut down, so we're doing the Scoop. Yeah, I agree. For those of you that don't know what just happened, then if you're listening on audio services, Bibby just did a double somersault in backflip. So
my fat ass will never be able to get off the floor that high.
He sneezed. It's fine. He's not having a seizure. It's okay. Carry on. So yeah, Bibby usually goes to bed early because he has to travel all the way to the studio. The studio is on lockdown, so we're doing this remotely for you, which is kind of a whole new world. Insert Disney sing-alongs here. Oh no! Because
speaking of sing-alongs, anyway, this is Wonderwall.
Can you play Champagne Supernova? Well, I can't. I might do in a bit, but in the meantime, I have another Oasis song.
I bet you wasn't expecting that, was you?
Audio listeners are like, what the fuck is happening? Honestly, a couple of days outside the studio, coronavirus has got a lot to answer for. Bloody hell. So yeah, anyway, that's what you can hear is Bibby having late nights and not having to get up, so he's kind of sleep deprived. Suddenly has a guitar. Where did it come from? Nobody knows. Did he own it before this morning? No, he didn't. Where did it come from?
I ran to cash generators to go and pick up my £2 crackhead guitar.
Well, unlucky for you, that's your daily run out. Gone. It's gone. That's it. No more.
That's it. No more fresh air for me.
Well, do you know what you can do, Bib? You can
Go on, mate.
Stay in and play games. Although, if you do have a game that you want to play, you probably want to get it downloaded now whilst you're not on your console, because that ties nicely in to our first news story of the day, which is written by Tom Phillips for Eurogamer, and it says Sony PlayStation game downloads in Europe will be somewhat slower or delayed amid coronavirus crisis. This is actually something that isn't just limited to Sony. It does have it is affecting multiple providers, which we will touch on after the story. But yeah, let's jump through it now. So the reasoning is to preserve internet access for the entire community. Excuse me, bear with me one second. Only Bibby got the audible burp there, so that's fine. PlayStation boss Jim Ryan has told gaming fans they may face somewhat slower or delayed PS4 game downloads in Europe as Sony works to manage internet usage while much of the continent is on lockdown. But online multiplayer should remain robust, Ryan reassured. In a statement issued this afternoon, a day after sweeping new instructions from the UK government for people to stay at home, Ryan said it was important to ensure internet access remained available to all. Here is the statement in full. So this is the full statement embedded within the article now. Playing video games enables players all over the world to connect with friends and family and enjoy much-needed entertainment during these uncertain times, Ryan said. Sony Interactive Entertainment is working with internet service providers in Europe to manage download traffic to help preserve access for the entire internet community. We believe it is important to do our part to address internet stability concerns as an unprecedented number of people are practicing social distancing and are becoming more reliant on internet access. Players may experience somewhat slower or delayed game downloads, but will still enjoy robust gameplay. We appreciate the support and understanding from our community, and they're doing their part as we take these measures in an effort to preserve access for everyone. Video streaming services such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, and YouTube have already announced plans to cut their streaming quality in Europe to use less data, but this is the first such move from a video game platform. And last week, the EU warned of broadband strain as millions of people moved to working from home, causing a twin spike of demand for video conferencing during work hours and streaming video in the evenings instead of going out. While online gaming uses far less data than video streaming, some game downloads, looking at you, Call of Duty Warzone, can run up to 100 gig. So, yeah, it's one of those things that you kind of, I mean, obviously, there's probably been a million and one conversations about it in the last week or so, but before that, the idea that people working remotely will have such a huge logistical drain on networks and resources, I bet no one's ever really thought of that. Oh, let's work from home. Yeah, well, let's all work from home. And the internet just suddenly goes, fuck.
Yeah, like I said, though, with like the Modern Warfare downloads and things like that being 100 gig, I've noticed considerably that the internet in our house is a little bit slow at the moment, purely because I'm in Discord all day. We're doing streams like this in the morning while Samantha's doing her conference calls and everything downstairs, as well as her watching or having Disney Plus on in the background. And while I'm working in the afternoon, I'll have Twitch on a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It all adds up. We've got Wi-Fi's on our phone. We've got tablets in the house. It does all add up. For instance, Hyde is working from home. It is going to have a significant drain on the stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You went, it doesn't add up, and then you just kind of froze for a bit. I was like, well, that's point in question. There we go.
Good start.
No, that's the thing. And there is really no one to blame for this. Whilst it is a bit annoying, it's the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, so to speak. Once again, referencing Spock from Star Trek. GG, Greg. Yeah, thank you. If Batman Dave's in the chat, he will appreciate that. So yeah, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. If we give everyone super bandwidth to download 100 gig files for Call of Duty Warzone, which a lot of people will be doing, because we said yesterday, obviously we don't have the figures for Xbox, we don't have the figures for PlayStation Network, but we know that Steam had its record number of 20 million users on the weekend, which was then shattered again by 22 million users. So it's gone up 2 million on its highest ever in just a few days. So it could be even more now, or it could be towards the weekend particularly, because obviously thinking about the people that may be still working in transport, in refuse collection, in any of the key
general
areas. Yeah. If they get weekends off, then it could spike even more this weekend, with everyone being forced to be that's in non-essential work to stay at home. So if we could draw conclusions then. Okay, Steam is higher than it has ever been. We can. It's probably safe to assume that PlayStation and Xbox are the same. And if these people aren't regularly playing on their consoles, but they are now, the chances are they probably don't have the latest games installed. And if the latest game, the biggest game that everyone's streaming right now is Call of Duty Warzone, and it's free, chances are everyone's going to want to download that. So if you suddenly have millions of people downloading 100 gigs each, then the network could be crippled. So whilst it is a bit crap that we can't download the game in a couple of hours or whatever and crack on because speeds are slower, yeah, it's all right. It'll be there for you tomorrow, and you're going to be stuck inside tomorrow. So is it really that much of an issue? It's not. It's nice. It's good. It's an inconvenience, but it's a necessary inconvenience. So I'm
Absolutely
happy to take it on the chin. Happy to take it on the chin. No doubt there will be people out there, and I'm fairly sure if we did a quick search on Twitter, you'd find people pissing and moaning and doing the self-righteous thing of, yeah, but I'm stuck in the house. Why are you throttling my speeds? But yeah, that's the nature of the internet. Some people just want to be angry at everything forever.
Dimwits, I like to call them.
One thing, completely going off topic from games. One thing that I did see and trending, and it was still trending when we went on air for this, was that Halfords. There's a hashtag boycott Halfords trending, and have I missed something? If anybody in the chat is watching and knows, what is the reasoning for the boycotting of Halfords? Because from what I can see, and when I say I can see, I've not deep dived into it, but what I could see is Halfords have shut all of their stores. They're still trading online, which is fine because delivery. I mean, the country can't stop. Anything that has online retail is still fine and permitted, so that way you can still order. Let's say your fitness regime includes going on a bike ride. You could order a bike from Halfords and they could deliver it, so there's no issue with that. But they are keeping their auto centres open, which is fine, because if people like... I mentioned refuse collection, but let's say nurses or whatever, any of those need to get to work. They need a car, and if their car isn't safe, then what? Which is... So garages and things like that, I understand those being open. Cars need to work for the country to run. So that seems fine to me. But there's a boycott Halfords. Have I missed something? I don't understand what.
I have no idea. I actually thought about this the other day. Like, what if my car needs an MOT? Like, are the garages still open and stuff like that? Am I gonna get nailed for driving around in my car without an MOT during like the next 2 months if I need to go to the shopping centre and my local garage is closed? Like, I don't know if there's any leeway in that kind of thing. I mean, it's not. My car is MOT'd until September, but
I think mine actually runs out in April. However, Mr. Mark Bamber, aka the boss from the ice cream and jelly team, did put a message in our office Discord earlier on, something along the lines of, he's just heard on the radio that everyone is being given 6 months MOT free as standard. Although he did say he didn't know the validity of that. It's just something he'd heard on the radio and hadn't found out for himself. But that'd be pretty cool. And that is a nice like band-aid gesture. There you go, from the government in terms of it's entirely cost. As long as your car's safe, obviously, if your car isn't safe, get it checked out. But if your car is still running and everything, then yeah, you don't have to worry about the ball ache of trying to find a garage and trying to get into it and keeping your social distance while having people going in and out of your car and touching all of your functions and things like that. Because that's just going to be like, yeah, if your mechanic has coronavirus and doesn't know about it, let's say he's gone through all the steps, is self-isolated and everything, but just somehow manages to get it anyway, if he's ripping your car apart, smelling all your seatbelts and everything. That's not. I would put my house on and say that I think it's fairly unlikely that your mechanic would smell your seatbelts in your MOT. Just saying, but you know, it's possible. It's possible.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, the fact that they've kind of paused that is essentially a huge shit ton of money that the government could be taking in. So GG on that. However, we'll no doubt have to pay it all at some point in time. They'll take it back twofold down the line. YouTube is also playing at 480p unless manually changed, and 720p or higher has had its bitrate cut, but I understand that they're doing it so the internet can live long and prosper. Hey, another Star Wars / Star Wars. Oh, this is it. David.
Oh
David's,
my God.
absolutely angry typing now in the chat. Yeah, no, that's what Spec said on Star Wars, wasn't it? Yeah, Professor Spec. That's what it was called.
I love that bit where Darth Vader turned up in Star Trek. Anyway.
Yeah, proper good. And he spoke to that little green alien thing. Was it R2 or whatever it was called? No, Yeda's the gold robot.
Ah, okay, cool. Good. Glad we cleared that up.
And then you've got like the old dude with the brown Hessian cape with the blue sword and stuff, and he's called Gandalf. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Ah, yeah.
Okay.
You pronounced that wrong as well. How silly are you? It's Toby Wonke Nobe, actually. God, silly. Anyway, welcome to We Clearly Have Lost It. Day 3 of isolation. So yes, jumping back into the story. Download / streaming bottlenecks even. PlayStation game downloads are being delayed and slower because reasons. Because they want to make sure everyone else has the same. And at the bottom of the article, it touched on Netflix, Amazon Prime, and YouTube are cutting streaming quality as well, as David just mentioned in the chat, cutting bit rates and defining standard. What's it? Defaulted. That's the word. So their standard definitions have been defaulted to lower, so SD rather than HD. And then before we went live, you mentioned there was other examples of where this has happened.
Yeah, Microsoft is looking at doing the same thing as well. Obviously, because they do have the Game Pass option where they can stream games, very much like PlayStation Now on Google Stadia. They are looking at how much is being used, and then we'll look to act accordingly. So Xbox aren't exempt. Well, they are exempt for the time being, but if you are an Xbox user and you do use it for streaming services like YouTube or video gaming, or going to download something, then I do it ASAP, because sooner or later in the coming days, you're going to get restricted access to that as well.
Yeah. So just bear in mind, if you want to download something, and say if it is in a few days' time when all the restrictions are on, just give yourself an extra couple of days to get it running, because everything could be running slow. You're probably going to be using more of your bandwidth anyway, whether you watch. So if you're watching something on Netflix while you've got your download going, that will slow it down. If you're having a video call with work while you've got a download running on your PS4, that'll slow it down. So give yourself an extra day or two. If you're planning on playing on Friday, get it downloaded now. Just make sure. Plan ahead. Yeah. I mean, I know that kind of goes against us stereotypically as video gamers. Planning ahead? What do you mean? Just play the game. What the hell? But yes, wherever possible, save yourself the put out by getting the dame. Download your dames. Anyway, let's move forward. Our next news article of the day is sponsored by World of Warships Action Stations. Play for free now. That's not actually anything to do with us, by the way, but you can if you want. I mean, I probably won't, but you can. Anyway, Sherif Saed for VG247 says Call of Duty Warzone patch delayed. So we reported on this patch yesterday, and what a difference a day makes, as this week's Call of Duty Warzone update has been delayed. Infinity Ward recently announced the latest patch for Call of Duty Warzone and Modern Warfare. This update was meant to be going live last night / early this morning, but it's sadly been pushed back. The developer posted a tweet confirming the delay, but did not provide a new release date, only saying it will arrive in the coming days. This was meant to be Warzone's first big update, and likely would have been the last one for Modern Warfare this season. It promised a new map in multiplayer and an update to Warzone floor loop with the introduction of 3 new weapons. It would also introduce a new operator in Talon, which could only be acquired through the store. And now we have an embedded tweet within the article that says, tonight's scheduled title update is being delayed and is set to release in the coming days. This update includes our new operator Talon, new free modes, and our next free multiplayer map, Candor Hideout. Please stay tuned for more details and updates on release timing. And the article finish was we'll keep you updated as and when a new release date gets announced. And until then, you can check out the links in the article for more. So yes, what a difference a day. Yeah, so we spoke about it yesterday. Obviously, there's new Modern Warfare weapons. There's a shotgun, MK14 EBR something or other, YMCA GCSE assault rifle, or something. So yes, new stuff coming, but not yet, which is not surprising. But it gives you a couple of days to get prepped, ready for the download, which will no doubt be 2,456 gigs.
I mean, it couldn't have come at a worse time, really. And everyone's internet's being throttled, and they're probably going to delay this 25 gigabyte update. So we'll see how that goes.
I wonder if they will ever do like a free access period for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, because obviously no one's playing. I say no one's playing. That's a bit of a shit sweeping statement. No one's playing COD and Warfare. Hey,
COD and Warfare.
That's the new name for it. No one's playing COD and Warfare. They are, but everyone's playing Warzone. Let's put it that way. Obviously, these are sweeping hyperbole, but everyone's playing Warzone. That's a shitload of people that have access to the Call of Duty video game, but not the full game. I wonder if they'll do any free access in order to try tempt people over to buy the game. Not that they have struggled with sales of Warzone, of Modern Warfare, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
I reckon it's a very good shout, actually. I never even thought of that. So it would be good for them, I think, during the next 2 months, if that's how long we're going to be here for, to just have a week. Like Football Manager, I've done it for 2 weeks now. I think you can actually buy the game at a reduced cost at the end of it if you've actually played it. So yeah, it's a very good incentive if they said, okay, well, there's Battle Royale. If you want to buy the full game, pay £25, you've got everything else. If they can reduce the cost, I mean, this is me saying if everyone can reduce the cost of games, you'll probably make more money during this point. But I mean, that's a business decision that I'm fairly certain most video game companies will be looking at the moment. And I seen Capcom yesterday on the Nintendo Switch have put out, I think it's like up to 70% off on their games on the Nintendo Switch at the moment. So whether or not these companies are cashing in, the only people that are going to benefit from it are the people who are going to be potentially looking to buy these games anyway. So even if they are trying to capitalize on people staying at home, then perfect. You're going to make some money off it. But you're also going to cater to the needs of people who are going to be bored out of their brains while they're at home.
Yeah, it's a win-win. I saw yesterday as well. It's probably the same reasoning from it, but Capcom games, i.e. the Resi games, because it was a tweet from the Resident Evil account, up to 75% off all of the PlayStation, all the games on the PlayStation Store, PS4. So there was like Resident Evil 2, and obviously not Resident Evil 3. I don't know whether that is actually available digitally, and they've just kind of held it off because people are paying full price for it at the moment. Which, if that is the... Okay, let me rewind that. If PS3... if Resident Evil 3 is available on the PS Store, and that's not including the sale because the new game's coming, there's an increased demand for it, that's a bit shit. But the fact that there's 75% off all of the rest of the games, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Biohazard, whatever, all of those were including it up to 75% off, which is pretty good, because they get to sell a few more copies of the game for a few quid, and people get a few hours of entertainment for a few quid. Job's gone.
Well, I've got a massive decision to make now, because I don't actually know whether or not I can go to the shop to buy Resident Evil 3, or I'm going to have to download it, like pre-install it next week. Like, if we are getting throttled, then I'm going to have to pre-install it on like Wednesday. I know my internet isn't that bad that I'll have to wait that long, but I just want to know that when I'm awake on Friday, that I'm actually able to get into it. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think the shops are going to have it on the shelves. Like, game's going to be closed. My local supermarket, which I bought it from last time, I bought it from Tesco, they will probably have it, but whether or not I want to be outside there at 6:30 in the morning queuing with everyone else while they're trying to buy food, and I'm trying to buy a video game.
It will look like a scene of Resident Evil. You've got everyone just there, stood there waiting to pick up the baguettes, and then Bibby there with his bottle of Fanta Fruit Twist and a copy of Resi 3.
Yeah, well, remember last year I ended up buying that. I bought us 2 massive packs of them coffees that we put in our Tassimo machines. And then a load of sweets and shit. So it was a big day last year. I don't think well, there is going to be an apocalypse this year next Friday, so we'll see how that goes.
I was going to joke about Pizza the Hut, but then I remembered Spaceballs already did that joke, says Fatman Dave. Yeah, that's the taking the piss out of Star Trek and Star Wars. Pizza the Hut, if you've not seen Spaceballs, was the character of Jabba the Hutt, Pizza the Hut. But yeah, yeah, that's a good question. Do you know what I reckon? For the benefit of
those with flash photography,
for the benefit of the internet, it's probably safer that you don't go to the supermarket and you look at digital options. But maybe we should have words with Capcom in the meantime. I will see what I can do.
Yeah, because obviously I want to try and get it on physical. That's the best way I would have. I would have liked it just to be able to slot into the nice little slot that I've got available for it, just to complete the collection. But yeah, I think for the benefit of me being able to play it and my health and my family's health, I think going to the supermarket to potentially just buy a video game is probably the dumbest thing that I could do.
It's non-essential retail. I mean, if you're picking it up whilst you're out doing your shop, but that means you've got to do your weekly big shop kind of thing on a Thursday morning at 6 a.m. and nobody got time for that. Anyway, from one scary game to another, or not, as the case may be. We once again spoke about this previously because with the Scoop we cover everything that happens in the games industry, including whether Silent Hill is coming to PlayStation or not. And recent Silent Hill and Silent Hill rumours are not true, according to Konami. This is written by Stephany and Nunneley for VG247, and the article says, rumours regarding a Silent Hill soft reboot and renewed development talks for Silent Hills are not true, says Konami. Excuse me. According to a North American PR representative of Konami, rumours surrounding a Silent Hill reboot and a Silent Hills revival are just that, rumours. And then we have a quote embedded in the article. It says, we're aware of all the rumours and reports, but can confirm they are not true, the spokesperson told Rely on Horror. And then back to a quote again. It says, I know it's not the answer your fans may want to hear. It's not to say we're completely closing the door on the franchise, just not in the way that is being reported. And then back to the article. It says, earlier this month, a Rely on Horror report stated a soft reboot of the series was in the works and being co-developed by Sony's Japan studio. The initial report also stated Silent Hills, which spawned the ever-popular PT demo. It's not a demo, it's just... Anyway, and was cancelled when Hideo Kojima left Konami, is also being discussed by the Sony team as it's working to patch up the relationship between Kojima Productions and Konami. So, long story short, what did I say? Bullshit. Say it again. Bullshit. We did call that last week.
Yeah. Much to my disappointment.
BKOG, good morning. It's commitment, I'll give you that. What is? What is?
Me going to pick up a copy of Resident Evil.
Ah, okay. I didn't see when the comment came through, so I was like, what? Cancelling Silent Hills or not doing again? I don't know. But good morning, Owen. How the devil are you, sir? Are you safely isolated, or are you? I'm assuming you're not like having to go into offices and stuff, because if you are, then sucks. But yeah, good morning. Anyway, Silent Hill, be it a reboot, be it whatever, it's not happening. Or at least not in the way it is being reported, it says in the article. Bib, thoughts?
Well, like we said, we kind of knew that this was going to be the case. For me, being a fan of Silent Hill is highly disappointing, because I want to see the Resident Evil and Silent Hills games push each other for survival horror. What's the best survival horror? I mean, Silent Hills is more of a psychological horror, more than anything, more than survival horror, but it still has all the elements of a survival horror game. And those games were the best when they was both fighting for the number one spot. Very much like WWE or WWF and WCW way back when. Nerdy reference.
GG. So I appreciate the reference.
Cheers, mate. They're both pushing each other to be number one. They both came out around the same-ish time. But yeah, I mean, Resident Evil is, at the moment, it is the number one survival horror game. It is the place for you to be able to get your fix of survival horror. Silent Hills did something completely different and revolutionary under Kojima. I wanted to be able to explore that a little bit more, even if he wasn't behind it. I mean, his mind is fucked at the best of times. So getting to go inside his brain and play out his imagination in a Silent Hill games was a phenomenal piece of art.
I just want to say that is the most Northern English thing ever. His mind is fucked at the best of times, being a compliment. Oh yeah, his mind is fucked at the best of times, so I'd love to try it.
I mean, those of you that aren't from up north, unlucky, because we have the best words. But yeah, it's it's a shame that we aren't going to experience that. It's basically so. I'm just repeating what we mentioned last week, but fingers crossed for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that they've said we're aware of the rumors, but can confirm they're not true. Yeah, that's fine. That's just dismissal. It's essentially it's going a little bit further than saying we don't speculate on we don't comment on speculation and rumors. They have commented. It's not true. However, they then undo that comment by saying it's not to say we're completely closing the door. Not in the way it's been reported. It's kind of like it's not true, or is it in some way? so it's a firm and teasing way of saying no comment, but there is actually comments within that. There, they could have just said, "Look, we don't comment on rumor speculation." They could have just said no, but it's the we're not completely closing the door on the franchise, just not in the way it is being reported. So is that saying we are working on Silent Hills, but not with Kojima? Is that saying we are working on Silent Hills, but not with Sony Japan Studio? Is that saying we're working on Silent Hills doing our own thing, but not with Kojima or Sony Japan Studio? It could be any of those. It could be none of those. But that's where your mind starts going to overdrive. Then it's like, what are they saying? Because what they're saying there, that will have been because what does it say? It came from a PR representative. So this is a PR comment. So this is a comment that's been vetted and thought through. So yeah, it's not being the fact that it's not. They haven't just said no. Kind of makes you think. Okay, they don't want to be seen. They don't want someone pulling them back up in 6 months' time, going, "Yeah, but you said you weren't doing anything, and now you are." Well, whatever, mate. So is it that? I don't know. I'm thinking. I don't know. Yeah. Mobile game, lol. Maybe. I'm good. Yeah, working from home.
We did have a mobile game of Silent Hill way back when.
Oh, did we?
Yes, it was called Silent Hill Orphan. It was okay for a mobile game, but yeah, I'm sure I was in college when that got brought out.
I remember playing.
It must have been like 2007 or 8.
Oh, I remember playing Metal Gear 1, which was really good. It was like Metal Gear 4 graphics, Metal Gear Solid 4 graphics, but it was kind of like point and click. Like you go over there, and then we can shoot, and you go over there, and we can shoot, and it was kind of point and click mixed with FPS. It just didn't give me the Metal Gear vibe. So it was good for a mobile game at the time, but in terms of technically what it looked like on screen, but it wasn't Metal Gear. Just like I didn't like Metal Gear Acid, where a lot of people did, but that was like a card.
Yeah.
Weird thing. I'm good. Yeah, I'm working from home, so I can actually chill and watch some streams during the day. Well, that's fine, because we go live at 10 a.m. each and every single weekday. Twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. You get it. I get it. Got to say, I don't mind isolation. Well, you've got Uzi. You're not really isolated. That's the thing. We are the isolation station. Copyright, babe. Monday.
That is absolutely correct.
Something or other of the match. Yes, there we go.
Of all the matches.
So okay, let's run with David's comment of a mobile game. If this was a Silent Hills game in development, so if it is something that is being worked on but not in the way it's been reported, it's not been reported as a mobile game, would you be interested in that, babe?
Obviously, I'm probably going to end up playing it. I mean, I've actually got on the second day. I must have been the only person in the world that actually bought this. But to add to my collection of Silent Hill games, there is Silent Hill. I mean, you might not be able to see it because of the glare, but Silent Hill Book of Memories on the PS Vita. I'm probably the only person in the world that bought this game. But yeah, I do. I'm not just saying this because it's the cool thing to say, but when I say I am a survival horror fan, I mean I am an actual fucking hell survival horror fan. I buy and play so many shit and good survival horror games. It is untrue. So I'm not just like a part-time fan. I literally go out and I spend good money on this shit. I'm not being funny, but that was an awful game. That was a really, really bad game. It wasn't a survival horror game. It was more like a shoot and loot kind of game. So you had to use the twin sticks, and yeah, it wasn't a Silent Hill game. I've also got a massive collection of Silent Hill 1, 2, 3, 4, The Room, Resident Evils, all of them next to me here. I have shown them on streams before, so if you are a fan of the channel, you probably would have seen them all. But I am a through and through nerd when it comes to collecting video games, especially survival horror ones.
Actually did fairly well, that, to be fair, that game, from what I remember. I don't have any sales figures, so I'm not going to that. But we, at the time of Silent Hill Book of Memories being released on the Vita, we were doing social content Konami UK, and despite the Vita install base at that point in time being quite low, and Silent Hill not having a major successful title in terms of, like, when I say that, I mean the likes of, you look at how big Silent Hill 1, 2, and then the films and stuff. It was kind of on the wane by that point in time. But whenever we spoke about it on social, there was a lot of interaction. So I think it actually did fairly well for a Vita game at that point in time. I mean, maybe it was just that the few people that did buy the game were interacting with us on social media. Maybe we got our social content absolutely laser focused onto the people that had it. I don't know, but it seemed to have quite a passionate following.
Probably me replying to you. I've got. In fact, I'm going to give a shout out to some of these games. I've got so many more downstairs for my Vita, but Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified on the Vita was an absolute banger of a game. The online element was solid. It didn't have a storyline. Did you never play it?
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's brilliant. The story, it didn't have a storyline. It had a campaign, but it was one of them ones where you had all the levels and easy, medium, and hard, and you just had to complete on either one to be able to get the stars for it.
We have agreement in the chat. Good morning, Rise, who says OMG Declassified was a banger of a game. I've
morning, Rise.
Literally never heard of it. I didn't even know it existed. It doesn't surprise me, but yeah.
It's declassified.
No, I just hadn't even heard of it.
All right. I thought you was just being Graham then, building up to. I thought there was going to be like a 3-minute build up to a joke there.
You see that? See, that's what isolation is, missing the banter. He's trying to fill it in for himself when I'm not even doing it.
My brain's working into overdrive even though I'm like, oh, how does this work? This is an absolute banger as well. Football Manager 2014. You could cross-platform save with the PC version, which was life-changing.
I love cross-platforming bits on mobile consoles, portable stuff. Yeah.
Again, the Vita was one of the best systems ever. It just came out at the wrong time. Like, if they brought out the Vita now alongside the PlayStation, the Nintendo Switch, it would bang. You're able to play high-quality games on the console. It's just unfortunate at the time it came out alongside. Was it rivaling the 3DS, which the library was just so much more significant. It was amazing. Resistance, Burning Skies, legit banger of a game.
Also not heard of that. I mean, I've heard of Resistance games, but I had a Vita, but I have a Vita, but I kind of gave up on it fairly early because it was naff ports. So I got Uncharted Golden Abyss.
Banger of a game.
No.
You don't like it?
It was okay, but I didn't finish it. That's how it was okay. It was. I also got Assassin's Creed, whatever it was, Liberty or something similar name wise, and it was just buggy as fuck. I remember like there was a bit where you're swimming through kind of like a swamp, and as you get to the land, you stand up and then run out of it. But my game just kept glitching, so that I'd swim through the swamp, I'd hit the land, and then I'd just be air swimming my way around. Like, what the fuck, stand up, get your guns out. But because you're swimming, you can't shoot. I just kept dying, so I gave up on that too. But yeah, Uncharted Golden Abyss. Uncharted being one of my all-time favourite video game series. I've even got Uncharted shit just there, I think. So yeah, Uncharted being one of my all-time favourite series. Golden Abyss, I didn't finish it. I mean, to be fair, it was probably one of the more enjoyable games that I did play on the Vita, to be fair. So I'll give you that. What else you got? Or have you put them all away now?
No, I've still got some here. I've got Borderlands 2, which is downstairs, which is a fantastic port of that game onto the Vita. Even though it did use a lot of the touchscreen stuff, obviously because it is a through and through console game or a PC game. Trying to middle it down to one set of shoulder buttons and then using the touchpad, it got a little bit tedious, but absolute banger. But this is the Pierre de Resistance. Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2 on one cart. That, my friends, is the premium way of playing Final Fantasy X.
Question: does it have Blitzball?
Yes, it does.
Fuck yeah! There we go. Every time we talk about Final Fantasy, that's the one thing that I throw into the mix. Blitzball!
Absolutely.
Boys, any news on the rumours that you will be doing a Scoop spin-off with Joe Wick style workouts? But it's funnily enough, me and Bibby were just talking about it earlier on the show. I don't know who Buzzed of Peep is, but Jamie, one of the ice cream team, has been nominated as our representative. So that we've got Joe Wicks. We're going to have Jay Wax, and he's going to be our weekly workout stuff. I mean, Joe Wicks is lasts for, what is it, an hour, half an hour, whatever it is. Jamie's committed to doing 4 hours in one sitting. So
hero.
Keep your eyes out for that. Keep your eyes out for that. Hey man,
I've got one last game as well.
Can I request a song? Yeah, of course you can. I mean, we won't play it, but you can request as many as you want. Go on then, babe.
Last game that I've got here. I've got more downstairs, but I actually can't remember what they are. But FIFA 14, it was a brilliant game, to be fair, and the online worked. So I played a stupid amount of hours on that because, unfortunately, there was no Pro Evolution Soccer on the Vita until last year.
I think to be fair to EA, they nailed it with FIFA 14. Xbox 360, PS3. The first one, the first one to hit the PS4 and Xbox One as well, and Vita launched. They covered all bases with it then, so GG's to them there. I said
a banger of a game.
Said this the other day that they should re-release the Vita and make it compatible with the PS5 so you can play any games you have on the console and switch wherever you are.
You see, I was able to play my PS. I remember this. 3 years ago, I took my Vita to Dublin when me and the missus went over for. Why else would you go to Dublin to go and get absolutely fucked on Guinness? So we went over, and I remember coming back, sitting in the airport in Dublin, playing my PS4 on my Vita because you could do remote play. All you needed was the internet and your console to be the primary console, and I was playing Pro Evo on my Vita in Dublin Airport.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Quite a lot of people didn't know about that because remote play, when it wasn't there at first, and then when it was put in, it was Bluetooth-ish or Wi-Fi, same Wi-Fi network only, so you had to be on the same network as your console to be able to play. You needed your console to be in rest mode so that you could activate your console from your Vita, and it was just stuff that that isn't too complex, but is complex if you don't know about it. It's easy enough to miss that it's there. So yeah, if you left your console on rest mode, it's effectively off. You could then be, as Bibby said, in an airport. As long as you've got a Wi-Fi connection, you can dial into your console, turn it on, and then remote play, use the console fully available. I mean, I was one of the many people that just used the Vita as a PES 2014, PES 2015, should I say, farming tool. So just pass, score a goal, pass it back to the keeper. That's kind of all I ever used remote play for. But only because when it first started as well, so the people that did know about it, there was extreme network issues with it. Quite a lot of people got a lot of network lag, so people obviously thought, I can play online. But you're using like McDonald's Wi-Fi, dialing into your home system, so you've got a connection already on your network as you're feeding the inputs to your console. The console then has to connect to the internet to connect to Call of Duty servers or whatever. So that's another network connection. But then you've got the input and delay of your button press in McDonald's Wi-Fi hitting your console, which is then pinging the servers to make the in-game actions. So it wasn't the greatest experience. But I mean, how far we've moved since then, that was like best part of 7 years ago. It's amazing that it hasn't kind of been pushed as a big thing for Sony. It baffles me that they've kind of gave up on the Vita so quickly as well, when they've got all of those kind of functions with it.
It's a shame. That's a massive nose blow. That's for me. That's for my benefit again, isn't it?
Yeah, just yours. Nobody else got that.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, great stuff.
Well, you know, sharing is caring. Anyway, let's move on. Bibby just mentioned Borderlands 2.
Oh.
Let's have a little bit. Oh no, pressing the wrong screen. We want the split screen. There we go. So we've just talked about Borderlands. Let's talk about Borderlands. There we go. Borderlands 3 is getting another level cap increase this week, plus more on April's seasonal event and Mayhem 2.0. This is written by Matt Wales for Eurogame, and the article says Borderlands 3's new Guns, Love and Tentacles paid story DLC arrives this Thursday, 26th of March, and Gearbox has now confirmed it will be accompanied by another level cap increase for all players. And for those eager to peer even further into the future, there are more details of the game's upcoming new seasonal event and Mayhem Mode 2.0. As of Thursday, Borderlands 3's level cap will rise from 53 to 57, providing all players with 4 additional skill points and the option to equip 2 capstone abilities at one time. There's also a new Twitch extension arriving as part of the free update, which grants new interaction opportunities to the streamers. Interesting. But the next batch of big, exciting stuff isn't due until April. Come next month, Borderlands 3 will usher in its free 6-week-long Revenge of the Cartels seasonal event, requiring players to assist their pal Morris by picking off Joey Ultraviolet's neon-draped henchmen across the solar system. Defeat enough, and players are granted access to the swanky new mansion map to confront Joey and his goons directly. Gearbox says the enemy encounters in the mansion will change depending on which of 3 distinct gangs currently rule over the cartel, with each dropping unique loot and anointed parts to encourage replay. There's also numerous cartel-themed challenges to complete, unlocking special event gear, including some 80s-themed Vault Hunter cosmetics. April also brings Borderlands 3's Big Mayhem Mode 2.0 endgame overhaul, now available via its own Echo tab, so players don't need to return to Sanctuary 3 to make adjustments. All this is completely lost on me. I have no idea what any of that means. Anyway, Gearbox's tweaks mean there will be 10 Mayhem levels to conquer, plus 25 new Mayhem modifiers, each classified by the degree of challenge they bring to the game. Additionally, Mayhem levels determine the quality of loot received, with higher levels rewarding better stats. Gearbox says more details will be shared close to the release, and those hoping for a breakdown of this Thursday's editions, including an extensive look at new guns, love and tentacles story DLC, can check out the developer's latest Borderlands show episode above. The Borderlands show, is that the kind of funny one?
Yes, it is.
Gotta be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. As someone that has never played Borderlands, that did not stick in my mind. I don't know what I just read.
Well, I mean, as much as the show is for us to talk about video games, I know there is quite a lot of people in the ice cream community that actually really dig this game and are still plowing through it, including our very own Jack Boswell, who plays this game religiously with his friends as well. But I am a massive fan of Borderlands. However, disappointingly and embarrassingly, I haven't actually picked this one up yet.
That's pretty embarrassing, that bit.
It is extremely embarrassing, because I talk about Borderlands 2 being the be-all and end-all of first-person role-playing games, because it was just so phenomenal. I think even leading up to Borderlands 3's release date, I think I streamed pretty much the entirety of Borderlands 2 on this channel as well at one point.
So what is Mayhem Mode? And because obviously it's been upgraded to 2.0, but what is Mayhem Mode?
I mean, we've seen Callum and Rise, morning Callum anyway, and Rise in the chat. They're both absolutely over the moon about it. I'm not too sure.
I'm not really getting the impression that they are, to be fair. I mean, one of them says, "Yes! Get in." I mean, is that a positive comment? I'm not quite sure. And the other says, "Finally, more Mayhem. I feel Borderlands 3 is better than Borderlands 2, and I've played them both religiously." I'm not really getting the impression that they're fans of Borderlands there. No.
Yeah, I really do need to pick up the third one at some point. But this is I've had so many games to play over the last 4 months, whether or not it be to potentially review it on this channel or to stream it for everybody else's enjoyment. I haven't been able to pick it up yet, embarrassingly, but at some point I will. And at this moment in time, is there any better time for me to be able to pick it up than when we're stuck in the house for 2 months?
No.
Well, 2 for me, two for me is way better than 1. So I'd hope that 3 is better than 2. However, the bar for 2 was so high that 3 potentially could maybe not even scratch that kind of post of 2. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Well, we have disagreeing comments in the chat. Callum says, "I feel Borderlands 3 is better than Borderlands 2, and I've played them both religiously." Whilst Rise says, "Callum, are you on drugs?" So I don't think they agree.
No, but 2 for me was like the perfect FPS RPG game, because before Borderlands, the original one, came out, I was struggling to even think of a game that even come close to achieving what that game did. I don't know of many first-person games that had role-playing elements like that did, like being able to use the skill tree and level up your character and having guns that did different damage. I mean, obviously we have had Destiny and the Division and things like that since. Yeah, but as a first-person game, I don't remember it having like. I mean, technically, it could have been an MMO because you can only play with like 3 or 4 of your friends. So yeah, it was a weird one, but I mean, there's nobody does it better than Borderlands at the moment with that kind of genre of game. So me not playing the third one, I disappoint myself.
As of Thursday, Borderlands 3's level cap will rise from 53 to 57. As someone that plays like season pass battle royale games, 4 levels is nothing. Is that a big thing? I mean, is 4 levels a huge jump? I don't, cause...
In 2, no, not really. Obviously, it increases your armor, increases your damage, it increases a lot of other things as well. But 4 levels, you could pretty much fly through 4 levels in like 3 or 4 missions. But I imagine the XP grind in this is a lot more grindy than it is in the second one. Or that's what I've seen on Twitter. Again, I haven't played it, so I can't comment myself. But it feels a lot more grindy than the second one was.
I'm interested.
But I mean, it's interesting. Sorry, it's interesting to see.
Go first, whatever.
Like what Destiny was like. You remember when Destiny 1 came out? It was very vanilla and not many people enjoyed it. But by the end of the original Destiny, when they brought all the expansions out, all the DLCs, all the timed events and things like that, when they brought the second one out, it couldn't even hold a candle towards what the first one was because it was so there wasn't anything to do in Destiny 2 compared to what there was in the original Destiny. So eventually Destiny 2 has eclipsed Destiny 1, and I think that's kind of what Callum's saying. Like the way the complete edition of Borderlands 2, if you was to take that and then compare it to what Borderlands 3 is now, it probably isn't comparable because the amount of content that was available. I mean, we're completely forgetting about the pre-sequel and all of this, which again was a phenomenal game. But it's still Borderlands 2 is still a premium game for me because I haven't played the third one. But I imagine with the amount of stuff that was available in Borderlands 2, the third one doesn't quite compare to it just yet. But I imagine sooner or later it will probably eclipse it.
So the comment that Callum mentioned in the chat is, I think as soon as Borderlands 3 starts getting more DLC pumped out for it, it will skyrocket over the previous games. Even Handsome Jack DLC was extremely fun. Pre-sequel, let's not talk about that one.
You see, I actually really enjoyed that game. Surprise, surprise, baby enjoys shit games, but it was definitely one of them games that when the boys are on and there's 3 of us trouncing the enemies and stuff like that. I mean, it could have been any game, but it was a Borderlands game that I was playing with my friends. We was leveling up, we was taking areas out, we was getting the best guns, we was just causing absolute destruction and mayhem, and that for me is a Borderlands feel. But yeah, it wasn't. It still 2 is the pinnacle. I mean, it probably would go to 1 pre-sequel, but still, without playing the third one, I can't really have that much of an opinion.
Baby play shit game, shocker. Enjoy shit game, shocker. So yeah, the bit that I'll read the whole paragraph, but there's one bit in particular I mentioned it as I was reading through it that kind of caught my attention as someone that hasn't played Borderlands. But as of Thursday, Borderlands 3's level cap will rise from 53 to 57, providing all players with 4 additional skill points and the option to equip 2 capstone abilities at one time. Okay, that's kind of good-ish, I think. I mean, extra stuff in game, but this is the bit that kind of got my attention, being someone outside of Borderlands. There's also a new Twitch extension arriving as part of the free update, which grants new interaction opportunities to streamers. How does that work in terms of... I love the idea, and I think the world of content creation, streaming, and viewer interaction, I mean, it's pretty good right now. We're streaming live on the internet, and we could be playing a game, and we can interact with Callum and Rise, and we are doing just there in the chat. But how is Borderlands going to build on that? That's the bit that I want to know. What are these new interaction opportunities? Because it's kind of... We've had it teased in the past where... I said teased. What was it? Was it Stadia were allowing their viewers to drop into the game and take over, or is that something that Xbox was doing on Mixer or something? So people, these engagement opportunities are being teased and looked at, but so that's why it kind of draws my attention. Has anything been released on that, or what are your thoughts, Bib?
I have no idea, but I mean, it's if it's just Twitch drops, then that's cool because everyone gets free shit. Then you get free keys to be able to open your chests and things like that. But it's interesting to see that the next big batch of exciting stuff isn't due until April. Does that mean that they're going to be releasing some DLC that potentially may be free to people who have Twitch Prime? I have
Uh,
no idea.
See, I'm not. I don't read it as that sort of way because Twitch Prime and Twitch loot drops and things like that. That doesn't seem as an interaction opportunity. That's just a viewership and a purchasing sort of opportunity. Rise says, if you stream and people watch, we can vote on what gear you take as a reward or modifiers to the players / enemies, good and bad. Callum says, they tried this widget out when streamers got early access to the game. Cathillion had it. Twitch could decide if they wanted to buff the boss he was killing, such as increasing the damage.
Ah, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Thanks for clearing that one up, lads.
Yeah, that's where Twitch absolutely decides to turn into the mega troll that Twitch can be. It's like imagine Bibby playing a game of Pro Evo is like 2-1 up, 88th minute, and suddenly like 20 new players, and it's like what the fuck? 11 versus 30 kind of thing. Okay.
That would to be fair though, that would be pretty cool if I was playing and then people would just be able to make all my players 3 foot and then the opposition team gets increased to 8. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I imagine it'll be a bit frustrating for the person who's playing the game, just as they manage to nearly take the enemy out and then they get super buffed to the point where they get increased health and the health goes all the way up and then their level goes up a little bit higher so they do more damage. That would probably do my head in a little bit, especially because it can take a while to potentially take down a boss depending on how leveled you are.
It's like when you're fighting those bosses and you're like, smash, use my special abilities. Oh, my health's almost down. I've got 3 regens. Back to full health. Smash. Oh, no. Okay, I've got 1 regen left and the boss is down to a little bit of health left. And you're like that. So the boss smashes you. You use your last regen, takes you down to like 20% health, but you finally knock it down. And then you realise it's just like phase 1 of it. And you're like, fuck! I've got like 20% health. I've used like 380% health, and now he's just stood back up with an even bigger power bar. Fuck's sake. It was very fun turning the boss into a complete bullet sponge. Evil people, you evil. See, this is why we can't have nice things. Twitch just goes, oh no, you ain't. It's kind of like, what was the game? It was. I don't think it was Mavericks. There's a battle royale game. And I know they're all kind of based off of the Hunger Games, essentially. You're all in an arena and you kill each other until there's only one left. But there was a game where you played, you had 17 people. 16 people were in the game, and then the 17th person was like the game creator. I don't know what the admin, whatever name it was, but you were the person that controlled where loot went, where the blue zone kind of came in, and things like that. So yeah, essentially, in a first person story mode, someone gets to be the game creator, the director. That's it. Is it? What was the? Do you know? I'm not even going to Google it now. I'll leave it for now. But there is a game where someone does get to be the director, and it's kind of
Resident Evil. Project Resistance is the newest one that you can be the director.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you'll have 4 people running through the mazes where you can throw zombies up and bring Mr. X in, and I think Nemesis may make an appearance into it as well, but they have a maze to get out of, and as the director you can have cameras being put in certain areas, have zombies just appear around the corner from them, and they just have to try and survive. But Evolve was another one, I think, as well.
Darwin Project was the one that I had in mind. A Darwin Project on Steam. 10 inmates must survive the elements, track each other, fight, craft tools, and use their social skills to be the last one standing. So you need to take a battle royale with a show director to influence the match and spectator interaction to create a one-of-a-kind game show.
It's definitely a cool concept.
Speaking of battle royale game shows, I've just hit the button which plays nothing, clearly. Wow. There we go. Yeah. Shout out to Radical Heights and the OGs that remember Bibby's second place finish because he got done by an invisible rock. Nice. GG. Anyway, moving on. We have one little bit of news left today, and this is interesting. Interesting because it's not so much video game news as current affairs, real world news that has a video game angle. And it was sent in by a member of the Ice Cream Uploads community. So, opening tag, getting rid of the discussing now. So this, as you can see here, is a tweet sent to, get out of the way, Ice Cream Uploads. We've got Babinho and Graham Day, which is fun enough. That's something that Bibi says at the end of every single show. You can send in news that you can find on the internet, and we will pick it up the very next day. If you stick around, you may even get to hear him say it live today. Oh my god! But this, tagged by a friend of the show, at Shogun Ash, says, when the article that he's sent us came from SCMP News. I'll click through because I don't actually know what that is. The South China Morning Post. There you go. When you do anything to keep your baby safe in China amid the coronavirus pandemic. So I'll click on the actual video. So this is someone who's created a portable baby carrying sort of setup with air filter to create clean, fully breathable, corona-free little pod capsule thing for the baby, complete with a little part where he can stick. Oh, I'm going to mute that actually. Yeah, there you go. Complete. He's got a little rubber glove built in, so he can do the it's okay, you go sleep. But absolutely, points in the chat. What game does this remind you of? Surely this reminds you of a game. And it says it right at the bottom of the screen. So let's not look down there.
I'm not sure. What game is it from?
I mean, I was initially thinking Overcooked myself, but
yes. Silent Hills.
The interesting thing is the back compartment thing that he puts it on. I don't know if you've got to that part in it yet, Bib, but it says Umbrella Corp on it. That's not what you want.
Absolutely not.
Can I ask you, go over the thing you mentioned in your tweet? I wasn't here when you went over it. It says Rise. Yeah, absolutely. We can jump back over that. That's good. So yes, there you go. It says it in the article now. The structure of the cabin is similar to the game Death Stranding. So this is probably a little bit overkill, but also ridiculously cool at the same time. Someone has created a portable baby pod from Death Stranding to take his kid out. I mean, there's two options. Don't take your kid out, if possible. Or if you are, just keep them in a pram and use social distancing. But if you have the technical abilities to create yourself a Death Stranding pod, then why not?
This has to be cosplay of the year, right? Because it's legitimately functional.
Yeah, like, I'll jump back into it. So you've got there's the pod. You can see he's talking through it. There's his little rubber glove compartment. So if the kid's inside and crying, you can go, oh no, it's okay. There you go, choo choo. And then choo choo. It's not a train. Chill out, Graham. And then you can give a bottle of milk. Job's a good one. But this is the bit that worries me. Look right there. That's an Umbrella Corp symbol. It even says Umbrella Corporation on it. Mistakes have been made with Umbrella Corp. Last thing you want when you're in some sort of virus pandemic is to see Umbrella Corp. Then again,
he's not shy, is he? He's not hiding it away.
This has got to be fake. Because he's either really, really intelligent and knows what he's doing when it comes to creating his own hardware and things like that. And this is legit. Or and he's a video game fan, which is why it looks like something from Death Stranding, which is why it's got Umbrella Corp logos on. Or it's just...
It's a plant by Umbrella themselves.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. You never know. But there we go. That was going to wrap things up, but Rise did ask a question. So the very first story of the day, I will just see if I can bring that one back up. We started with this story. We won't go through it all again. But if you want to listen to it all again, it'll be able on demand on YouTube a little bit later on today, plus the audio podcasts as well. And you can watch it on demand on Twitch as well once we finish the broadcast. But this was the article we led with. Sony PlayStation game downloads in Europe will be somewhat slower and delayed amid coronavirus crisis. So essentially, the gist of it is, if you're playing games online, the game should still work fine. Your connections to servers and everything should all be good. However, when you're downloading directly from the PlayStation Store, be that installing DLC, downloading Warzone for 100 gig, whatever it is, you will essentially be bottlenecked. They're slowing it all down for everyone so that everyone has a decent level of service rather than having a good level of service which crashes. They're trying to keep it to maintain a standard across it. So the PlayStation Network will still be running. The services that they're pulling are essentially the high-speed download stuff. So if there is anything you want to download, if there's anything you want to add to your game library, give yourself a little bit of time to download. Give yourself the notice to download to make sure that you can get that installed. Because what might have taken you a few hours might take you a few days, depending. Nobody really knows. We don't have the access to the data. But, yeah, don't expect to be able to download and play same day necessarily. I mean, it might be the case, but not necessarily. As well as that, video streaming services such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, and YouTube, they've all cut their default streaming qualities. YouTube starts at 480p now, rather than going up to HD as standard. And when you do go up to HD, there are lower bit rates, so you might get good quality, but it might still be a little bit more pixelated than previously. And Bibby mentioned that Microsoft haven't commented that they are doing anything, but they are. Was it looking into doing it as well?
Yeah.
So I don't know why, but when they put the screen over their baby, I thought of Superman's pod when he was sent to Earth. Maybe. There is a legit company. I think it's in Korea that is called similar to Umbrella Corp and has the logo. Well, I think we can all learn and agree that it's probably best not to get a job there, particularly with everything that's happening in the world right now. I live in a new area, so I don't have fibre anyway, so I'm all good. Well, there you go! Although, I don't think that you will be... Yeah, I don't think that you will be throttled down as such. I don't know, actually. I mean, it'd be interesting to see...
It's got to be from their side, because you can... For instance, as I was downloading Doom 2 days ago, I was getting 40 meg download, but I imagine if I go to try and do it now, then I'll probably only get 20. Oh, I don't know what the cut is, but I reckon they'll throttle it, not your ISP.
Yeah, so if you have fibre, you're probably going to feel more of a hit, to be fair, with that in mind. I'm just lean forward because the camera's not focused. There we go. So if you have fibre, you'll probably feel more of a hit in terms of you'll be used to 300 meg. But that's all irrelevant because you can only download, say, 10 meg from the PlayStation Network. So you've said fibre hasn't been installed in my housing estate, so I'll happily be settled at my usual 25 meg download. That probably won't impact you then, because rather than download 25 meg, you'll just get 10 meg, as everyone else kind of will. Is it an actual limitation, i.e. ISPs actually slowing speeds, or just slower speeds because more people are online? I don't think it's ISPs. I think it is an actual limitation, as a result. So it is a limitation as a result of more people being online. The fact that they've said that actually... yeah. So it isn't just a case of the network balking under the pressure of people, because the article actually said that Sony were working to manage internet usage. So there is a lot more people online. So Sony are slowing access at their end, essentially. Rather than giving you 300 meg access to download, they're just throttling you at their end. So your ISP is still throwing out your 300 meg, but when you hit to Sony, 10 meg isn't the definitive number, by the way. That's just a round number that we're picking out. So yeah, you might hit them with 300 meg, but they're saying, yeah, well, you can only have 10, because we've got to give Bibbs 10 and Graham 10 and everyone else 10 as well. So yeah, there is a lot more people using it, but Sony are the ones that are managing the download speeds to make sure that everyone has a guaranteed level of service, even though it is not lower than what they used to. Although, I mean, arguably, you could say that PlayStation network management download speeds have been ridiculously throttled forever, because, yeah, I've seen that a million times. You can download something on anything, but PlayStation download speeds are potate at the best of times. That said, it still doesn't get past the fact that if they're dropping it to make sure that everyone has a continuous, guaranteed level of service, then that is what it is. It's a mix of both. ISPs are traffic shaping at peak times, but not much more than are doing now. And Rice says, well, with my Wi-Fi, I can't exactly get any worse, so I'm not complaining. I've not seen any change, currently using BT. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it won't be drastic. They're not dropping everything entirely. I think it's just more of a as a fair warning to let people know that the more and more people come on, the more and more demand, the more they might have to drop. So when I've said 10 meg, let's say it could be a 10.9 meg is what you're allowed, but then as more people drop on, it might drop down to 10.4, and then that might drop down to 9.8 or whatever. So that I imagine they'll do it incrementally, in terms of they'll keep it as high as they can to keep the service running smoothly, but when it starts to suffer under the strain, then they'll probably drop it incrementally then to get to the peak point to allow people the most speed with the least interruptions.
Yeah.
But what do we know? We're only streamers based in Manchester, Worcestershire. So what do we know? Anyway, I think we'll wrap things up there because I've used the word Manchester, Worcestershire. That clearly means I need another drink. But you know what? Before you disappear and get yourselves a drink, please feel free to hit the follow button on this channel. You don't have to. It's completely free if you're on Twitch, but there is a button just up there that you can hit. It will allow you to get notified each and every single time we go live. Like 10 a.m. tomorrow morning when we are back with... Is it Wednesday tomorrow? I don't know what day we're on. Is it Wednesday today?
Thursday tomorrow.
I don't know.
It's weird. It's just everything's just merging into one at the moment.
Yeah, it's bizarre. But whatever day of the week it is, as long as it's a weekday, we will be live at 10 a.m.-ish. So feel free to hit follow and you will get notified when we go live. That way, you don't even need to remember what day of the week is. You'll just see that we're there. That's the good thing about it. Obviously, you can sub as well. That costs money, so only do that if you want to. And unless you've got Twitch Prime, feel free to use that exclamation mark Prime in the chat. Should let you know a little bit more on that. But until then, we're pretty much done. Anything you want to add before we drop off for the day, Bib?
Yes, as Show very kindly did for us, if you do see anything knocking around the social media part of your life, whether or not it be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, tag we've got with being your Graham_day, and most importantly, Ice Cream Uploads with your thoughts and impressions. We'll take your thoughts and impressions, add our thoughts and impressions, and bring them all to one melting pot in the very next show.
I'm not going to lie, I thought you were going to keep going up the scale there when you went, your thoughts and impressions were like, on that bombshell, have yourselves a lovely day. One thing I did mention though a second ago was being able to sub to the channel. You don't have to, but if you do sub, you get access to a very sexy blue emote, which you can see just down there in the chat. Bibbs has put it in. Cheers, Bib. Which says, and I must quote, "Have a lovely day," and